Hoda 1, Episode 2. Before Clovis, Evidence and Debates. Pre-Clovis Sites, Bluefish Caves, and Meadowcroft. The search for evidence of pre-Clovis human habitation in North America has led archaeologists to some of the most intriguing and contested sites in the continent's prehistoric record. Among these, Bluefish Caves in Yukon, Canada, and Meadowcroft Rock Shelter in Pennsylvania stand out as pivotal locations, each contributing unique insights into the lives of the earliest Americans and the nature of their migrations. Bluefish Caves offers a rare glimpse into a world that existed over 20,000 years ago, during the Beringian standstill. The caves, located near the Bluefish River, are significant not only for their archaeological finds, but also for the insights they provide into the environment of ancient Beringia. Excavations carried out in the late 1970s and early 1980s revealed a trove of animal remains, including bones from ancient megafauna such as caribou and horse, alongside tools that suggest human presence. The artifacts discovered at this site indicate that the inhabitants were highly skilled hunters, adept at exploiting the resources of their environment. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence from Bluefish Caves is the presence of stone tools that date back to around 24,000 years ago, suggesting that people may have occupied the area during the last glacial maximum. These tools, crafted with a precision that points to advanced knowledge of lithic technology, include points that resemble those associated with later Clovis technology, raising questions about the continuity and evolution of tool-making traditions. The discovery of these artifacts has sparked debates among researchers, as some suggest they may represent a distinct cultural group that predates the Clovis people, while others argue for a more complex narrative of technological development and migration. The environmental context of Bluefish Caves is equally significant. The area was likely a refuge during the harsh climatic conditions of the last glacial maximum, providing a stable habitat for both human and animal populations. This suggests that the inhabitants of Bluefish Caves were not only survivors, but also innovators, adapting their strategies to the changing landscape. The evidence of hunting practices, including the butchering of large game, underscores the resourcefulness of these early peoples as they navigated the challenges of their environment. In contrast, Meadowcroft Rock Shelter, located in southwestern Pennsylvania, provides a different perspective on pre-Clovis habitation. This site has garnered attention for its extensive stratigraphy, which has allowed for a more detailed understanding of human activity over thousands of years. Excavations have uncovered layers of artifacts that date back to approximately 16,000 years ago, making it one of the oldest known archaeological sites in North America. The artifacts found at Meadowcroft include tools, hearths, and evidence of food processing, all pointing to a rich and varied diet that included both plant and animal resources. The presence of fire pits suggests that the inhabitants were not only hunters, but also gatherers, who utilized the diverse flora of the region. This blend of hunting and gathering indicates a flexible approach to subsistence, one that would have been critical for survival in the fluctuating climate of the late Pleistocene. One of the most significant aspects of Meadowcroft is the ongoing debate surrounding the dating of its artifacts. Initial claims of human presence at the site as early as 19,000 years ago were met with skepticism, leading to extensive scrutiny and further research. Radiocarbon dating of charcoal samples and associated artifacts has provided a more refined timeline, yet questions remain about the reliability of these dates and the implications for the broader narrative of human migration into the Americas. Some critics argue that the evidence from Meadowcroft could be the result of natural processes, while supporters maintain that the site represents a legitimate record of human activity prior to the Clovis horizon. The contrasting findings from Bluefish Caves and Meadowcroft Rock Shelter highlight the complexity of early human habitation in North America. While Bluefish Caves offers a glimpse into a specific cultural and environmental context, Meadowcroft presents a broader view of the adaptability and resilience of early populations. Together, these sites challenge the notion of a singular migration event into the Americas, suggesting instead a series of movements and adaptations over millennia. Moreover, the implications of these discoveries extend beyond mere timelines and archaeological debates. They compel us to reconsider what it meant to be human in a rapidly changing world. The peoples of Bluefish Caves and Meadowcroft were not passive observers of their environments. They were active participants, shaping their landscapes, forging connections, and developing technologies that would sustain them through the challenges of their time. As research continues at these and other pre-Clovis sites, the narrative of the Americas will undoubtedly evolve. The evidence unearthed from Bluefish Caves and Meadowcroft Rock Shelter serves as a reminder of the rich tapestry of human history that predates the more familiar stories of Clovis hunters and their descendants. The ongoing exploration of these sites not only enriches our understanding of early human life in North America, but also invites us to reflect on the resilience and ingenuity of those who first called this vast and diverse land home. In doing so, we begin to appreciate the depth of the human experience, woven into the very fabric of the continent's history long before the arrival of Europeans. Debates on timing and routes of early peoples. The question of when and how the first peoples arrived in North America has long captivated archaeologists, historians, and anthropologists alike. The prevailing narrative, centered on the Clovis culture, posits that people migrated into the continent via a land bridge known as Beringia during the last glacial maximum, approximately 14,000 to 15,000 years ago. However, emerging evidence from various archaeological sites challenges this timeline and suggests a complex web of migration routes and timelines. The Clovis culture, defined by its distinctive stone tools and big game hunting practices, represents a critical point in the narrative of human arrival in North America. Traditionally, it has been viewed as the earliest known culture on the continent, with artifacts dated to around 13,000 years ago. Yet, recent discoveries at sites like the Bluefish Caves in the Yukon and Meadowcroft Rock Shelter in Pennsylvania suggest that human presence in North America could predate Clovis by thousands of years. At Bluefish Caves, evidence of ancient animal bones with cut marks indicates potential butchering by human hands, dating back as far as 24,000 years ago. This finding has ignited debates about the timing of human migration and the possibility of earlier, more diverse populations than previously recognized. The debate over migration routes is equally contentious. The Clovis first model suggests a single route of migration through an interior corridor that opened up between ice sheets as the glaciers retreated. However, some researchers propose an alternative scenario in which early peoples utilized a kelp highway, a coastal route along the Pacific Ocean. This hypothesis holds that groups could have traveled by boat or along the shoreline, exploiting rich marine resources while avoiding the harsh conditions of the ice-covered interior. Genetic and archaeological evidence supports this theory, indicating that populations may have split off from their Beringian ancestors earlier than previously thought, leading to diverse cultural adaptations across the continent. Ancient DNA studies have further complicated the narrative, revealing that the genetic lineage of the earliest inhabitants is more intricate than a direct descent from a single population. The discovery of the Anzac I skeleton in Montana, dated to around 12,600 years ago, has provided critical insights into the genetic makeup of these early peoples. Genetic analysis indicates that the individual belonged to a population related to both the Clovis and later Native American groups, suggesting a complex migration and settlement pattern. Moreover, the existence of ancient Beringians indicates a divergence from the Clovis lineage, highlighting the possibility of multiple migrations and interactions among different groups. As the archaeological debate continues, the implications of these findings extend beyond mere timelines. They challenge us to reconsider the very nature of cultural identity and adaptation in early North America. The Clovis culture, once seen as a homogeneous group of big game hunters, is now understood as part of a broader tapestry of human experience, one that included various subsistence strategies, technologies, and social organizations. The role of climate change during this period cannot be understated. The Younger Dryas, a sudden return to glacial conditions around 12,900 years ago, likely forced early inhabitants to adapt or perish. As habitats shifted and megafauna faced extinction, the ability to navigate and exploit diverse environments became crucial for survival. This environmental stress may have driven populations to migrate toward areas with more stable resources, further complicating the understanding of their movements across the continent. Compounding these debates is the discovery of additional pre-Clovis sites that continue to emerge from the landscape, each contributing to the narrative of human history in North America. Sites like the Galt site in Texas and the Paisley Caves in Oregon have provided evidence of human activity and habitation that predates Clovis. The discovery of coprolites, fossilized dung, at the Paisley Caves, containing plant remains and animal proteins, offers direct evidence of dietary practices and human adaptation well before the Clovis horizon. Despite the growing body of evidence suggesting an earlier human presence in North America, the academic discourse remains polarized. Skeptics argue that the interpretations of pre-Clovis finds are often tenuous, emphasizing the need for rigorous methodologies and reproducibility in archaeological research. They caution against the rush to revise established timelines without comprehensive consensus in the scientific community. However, proponents of the earlier arrival theory highlight the importance of integrating interdisciplinary approaches, including genetics, climate science, and archaeology, to build a more nuanced understanding of the past. In examining the debates surrounding the timing and routes of early peoples, it becomes clear that the history of human migration into North America is far from settled. As new evidence continues to surface, we are compelled to reconsider our assumptions, embracing the complexity of human experiences that shaped this vast continent. The shifting narratives reveal not only the resilience of early peoples, but also the dynamic interplay between environment and culture that has characterized human history. Ultimately, these discussions emphasize the richness of North America's pre-Columbian past, underscoring the significance of ongoing research in uncovering the full story of its first inhabitants. As we continue to traverse the intricate pathways of human migration, we must remain open to the possibility of new and diverse narratives that challenge established norms, allowing us to paint a more comprehensive and accurate portrait of the early Americans. The role of ancient DNA in understanding migration. The advent of ancient DNA analysis has profoundly reshaped our understanding of human migration patterns, particularly concerning the first peoples of the Americas. As scholars and archaeologists have long grappled with the timing and routes of the earliest inhabitants, ancient DNA has emerged as a critical tool that complements traditional archaeological methods. This new layer of evidence has not only provided insights into the demographic histories of ancient populations, but has also sparked debates about the complexity of these early migrations. At the heart of the ancient DNA revolution lies the ability to extract genetic material from remains that have lain buried for thousands of years. Early samples, such as those from the Anzac I burial in Montana, have yielded invaluable information. Anzac I, a child who lived approximately 12,600 years ago, was found with a rich assemblage of Clovis tools and artifacts, suggesting a significant cultural context. Genetic analysis of Anzac I's remains revealed connections to both contemporary Native American populations and ancient Beringians, providing a clear link between the Clovis culture and the earliest inhabitants from Beringia. This discovery has critical implications. It suggests that the Clovis people, once thought to be an isolated group, were instead part of a broader and more interconnected population that descended from ancient Beringian migrants. The role of ancient DNA extends beyond individual cases like Anzac I. It has facilitated a broader understanding of the genetic landscape of North America. For instance, the identification of a genetic lineage linked to the so-called ancient Beringians, who lived in the Beringia region during the last glacial maximum, has painted a picture of a diverse population that existed before the Great Migration southward. This lineage appears distinct from that of the later populations that spread across the continent, hinting at complex patterns of migration and adaptation that challenge the previously held notion of a singular wave of migration. Debates continue regarding the timing and number of migration events, particularly in relation to the coastal and interior routes. Genetic evidence suggests that while the Beringian standstill may have given rise to a population that later dispersed, the presence of genetic diversity among early Americans indicates multiple waves of migration. Some researchers argue for a significant coastal route, often referred to as the Kelp Highway, which would have allowed early peoples to travel along the Pacific coast, exploiting marine resources. This hypothesis is bolstered by archaeological finds at sites like the Paisley Caves in Oregon, where coprolites, fossilized feces, have been dated to around 14,300 years ago, suggesting human presence long before the Clovis horizon. Conversely, the interior corridor, which became accessible as glaciers retreated, has also been supported by genetic studies. As populations expanded into the interior, they likely adapted to a variety of ecological niches, leading to regional genetic variations that can still be traced in modern populations. Ancient DNA has illuminated how these early groups interacted with one another and adapted to their environments, revealing a dynamic interplay of cultural and biological influences. The implications of these findings ripple through our understanding of cultural practices as well. Genetic studies suggest that the migrations were not merely physical relocations, but also involved sharing technologies, languages, and social structures. This cultural exchange is evident in the lithic traditions that followed the Clovis period, such as the Folsom and Plano cultures, which demonstrate technological innovations that would not have emerged in isolation. The genetic connections between these groups serve as a reminder that the story of human migration is not one of solitary advancement, but rather a tapestry woven from diverse threads of human experience. Moreover, the study of ancient DNA has also brought to the forefront the importance of considering environmental factors that may have influenced migration decisions. Climate change during the late Pleistocene and early Holocene epochs created shifting landscapes that likely affected food sources and habitat availability. Genetic evidence linking populations to specific environmental adaptations enhances our understanding of how these early peoples navigated their world, hunting megafauna and gathering resources in a rapidly changing ecosystem. As researchers delve deeper into ancient DNA, they confront the ethical dimensions of their work, particularly concerning the remains of Indigenous peoples. The need for collaboration with contemporary Native American communities is paramount, ensuring that the narrative surrounding their ancestors is respectful and inclusive. Many Indigenous groups have long maintained oral histories that reflect their deep connections to the land and their ancestors, and the integration of genetic evidence with these traditions can provide a more holistic view of the past. In light of these developments, the role of ancient DNA in understanding migration patterns presents both promise and complexity. It challenges the simplistic models of migration that once dominated the discourse, revealing a landscape rich with diversity and interconnections. Scholars are now tasked with reconciling genetic data with archaeological and ethnographic evidence to construct a more nuanced understanding of the peopling of the Americas. Ultimately, ancient DNA serves as a bridge between the past and the present, linking the earliest inhabitants of North America with their modern descendants. As the field continues to evolve, it holds the potential to illuminate not only the migration routes of these early peoples, but also the rich tapestry of cultures that emerged in response to their environments. The story of the Americas, as revealed through ancient DNA, is one of resilience, adaptation, and a shared human heritage that stretches back beyond 12,000 years, inviting us to reflect on the enduring legacy of those who walked this land long before us. Civilizationbuilders.net and Amazon.com/author Jenna Const, Rebuilding Civilization, One Voice at a Time.